In previous sessions, I told you about all things like related to servlet. We created index.html, then we created one HTML file inside web pages folder, a login, which is basically a login to display admin login methods. So now I'm closing this because we are done with that admin login and everything part, as I told you. So this is basically Java servlet. But now we are going to deal with database, Java servlet, and our HTML. So before that, I am going to use your Oracle database. So always remember the Oracle database service is 8080. That port number is 8080. When you are installing, you will understand that. So before installing Oracle JDBC, there is one important step. You have to change the server port for Glassfish server. If you go to the libraries, you can see there is Glassfish server, and in the tools of the IDE, which is NetBeans, you can go to tools. Here is the server option. Go to that server option. You can see I changed the port 8080 to 2000. In your side, you can see HTTP port is 8080, which is basically default port for localhost. But I am going to use here 2002. I changed this. How I can change this? So in where the installation is located on Mac or Windows system, in the Windows system, you have to go to the C drive, which is main drive, then users, your computer name. There you will find the Glassfish server folder. By default location is that. You can change the location. Go to that part. Then go to that domain.xml. So my location is domain, Glassfish, domains, domain1, config, domain.xml. Here you can find all the port numbers and everything. So open any that part in IDE or something, notepad plus, any code editor. Then search for your port number. So I changed port to 2002. Your port is 8080. So 8080 is not more located here, as you can see. 20 I changed to 2002. So instead of 8080, you can change this to 2002, not allocated port on your system. Change to not allocated port. So 2002 is free on my system. So I can deploy this to 2002 server. Press and save this part. Now you can proceed with your installation of Oracle database. So as you can see in the server of ID, your localhost port is now changed. So mine is already changed to 2002. In your case, 8080 changed to another. While installing, you can also change with specifying another server name or something like that. So this is for installing Oracle database. Many of issues will find during this installation. Once is installation done, open the run SQL command here, which is basically Oracle SQL++ command. So to connect to SQL port, this is executing, we are going to execute using this only. We are not going to use any GUI database or something to create. I'm going to use this only. So username is I'm going to specify default system, and remember while installing you have to give password and remember that password. So as you can see, my system is connected. Now I can execute any SQL commands like create table, delete table, or anything. So this is all about the Oracle database installation. Before that, for JDBC driver, Oracle databases uses OJDBC, Oracle database Java database connector. I'm going to use here 14th version. 10th is I think latest or something. So please use that also for database connection. So that's all about everything setup with JDBC. In further, I'm going to tell you how we can set up everything, but just remember these things. So once we are done with our admin page, now let us move with participants login page. So I'm going to create par login HTML. I already created par login HTML, which is participant login HTML page, to save the time constraint. So here we are going to give two options. Create account if you are a new user, or already a user, please log in. So we are going to create p sign up HTML for sign up page or p login HTML for login page. So this is very simple, and I'm going to create I'm giving the links, just I'm giving the links. It's all about the front end. So let us create some p sign up HTML first. So what is the p sign up page? So I'm going to remove this. You can remove this. This is just comment only. So this is all about header part is always same in my case. You can change it to something another, but I'm going to use only a single link for this. All things like style sheets and everything. You can modify this to another. So please log in using valid name and username password. You can add or something like that. So I'm going to change this. Please sign up, not login. Please sign up as new user. Okay, that's it. So participant, this is all about login page. I'm going to change it to the sign up page. Okay, username should be your registration number. You can change this or something like that. Your information, I'm going to change this. No need to mention this because I considered this as a university first, university related, but now I'm going to change this to all over the part. So again, I'm going to use form method here. As I told you in admin login, I'm going to use here form method. Form method is posting, action is store p. Remember, this is our Java servlet name which we are going to use. Store p means storing the password or storing the data. So I'm going to specify name here first. Name, participant should put their name. You can add more option, name, location, everything. But I'm going to consider only 4 fields: name, username, password, and confirm password. Because I'm going to tell you some basic part of it, not very deep part of everything. So name, then it should be text and p name. Then username, text, p username, password, this, and confirm password. Then submit button, and I'm going to close all the tags. That's it about p sign up. So how we can see our store p? So before I'm going to tell store p and all the methods with a database connection, I am going to tell you about more about some servlet part, how the servlets actually work and why the servlets are I'm going to use here for the database connection and everything. So let us see why our database and everything is very good using the servlet. So normally the what is the function from server and everything runs on is request and response. So consider one server which uses CGI. CGI means common gateway interface. Before these technologies are exist like serverlet, Java, then Python also, CGI is most commonly used. So CGI technology enables the web server to call external programs. What we are creating, these are the external programs. These are stored in the server bit, but it's not on the network. Our Java program is not on the network, is on the system. Basically, we are writing on the system. Server fetches that part to use that part logic inside network. So before servlet, CGI technology enables web server to call external programs and pass as a HTTP request information. We are going to pass as a HTTP. It's converts just servlet or Java logic to HTTP part. But to external program process request, for each request, it starts the new process. So here comes the some logical or computer science part. Processes means task, consider as a task. So if you want to go to 3 shops, but every time what you are going to logic is, I'm going example for a shop. You want to go to shop A, B, C. But every time what you are going to do, from the starting point, go to A, then come to the starting point. Then again from the starting point, go to B, then again come to the starting point to starting point. Each process takes too much time. So it creates 3 processes, consider like that. If you want to invoke 3 external programs, it creates 3 processes, each time new processes. It creates server load. Ultimately, server is a machine. So server takes too much load for creating each new processes, handle that process and everything. We are assuming we are writing in a higher level language, but inside the machine, it's again going to use in the binary language, or we can say machine level language. So it is very difficult to handle programs. higher level programs. Now the disadvantages of CGI here comes. As you can see, this is the image of CGI. This is the request from client. This is our server, HTTPD server. This is CGI shell. What is the CGI shell? It consists the external programs with CGI programs. So this is one process here. It goes to this, it runs this, and it will fetch. This is again fetch for the new process. This again fetch for the new process. These are the endless loops, and these are going to this request, and it's giving the response. So as you can see, for this server allocates some memory, for this server allocates memory. So process load is very high for the CGI programming. So if the number of clients increases, it takes more time to sending the response. Ultimately, the response and request time should be less in Java servlet as the ideal conditions. For each request, it starts a process, and web server is limited to start processes. Like web server cannot create 100 or 1000 amount of times. There is some restrictions on processes also. You can, for that much servers, like consider a server which can create only 1000 processes. So if the 2000 clients comes and ask for request, CGI server cannot create more processes more than 1000. I'm considering as an example. But it uses platform dependent languages, C, C++, Perl. What is the difference between that? Java is the platform independent. You can use Java on any system. As if you are using Linux server, Mac server, Windows server, anything you can use. So I am using Windows machine. If another what we can say with another person using Mac machine or Linux machine, it can easily use that Java. But C, C++, Perl are platform dependent ultimately. So let us see about what is Java servlet. So Java servlet creates web container. It is very new technology, we can say, or recent technology, web container. It creates the thread. So threads means basically these are some process loading commands, or we can say process loading handling commands. So threads for handling multiple requests. One thread can handle about 1000 requests. So it can create 1000 requests, 1000 response each thread. So ultimately we are increasing the number of processes. So multiple requests can come to the servlet. Threads have many benefits over the processes, such as they can share common memory area. They are lightweight than processes, each processes. So threads can use common memory area. Like thread 1, thread 2 shares common memory area in the server A. Consider that like that. So these threads, what can they do? They can easily access same memory in any time or any amount of time. There are some timestamps are given. Again, the cost of communication between two threads, like thread 1 and thread 2 also can communicate. Process 1 and process 2 communication is very difficult, and there may be errors inside that. So for that error reduction, again we have to use some system methods or something like that. But in threads we can easily communicate that between two threads. So advantages of servlets over CGI. First is better performance always, because it creates thread for each request. Probability, because it uses Java language, probability also increases. Probability, Java language, as you can know, there is a system default, or if CGI loads on your own machine, if there is error in some counterpart or something like that, if you are using common variable between two processes, C, C++, Perl gives the error, but probability of Java language of giving error is very low. So process load is again low. Robust, JVM manages servlet, so we don't need to worry about memory leakage, garbage collections, such parts. So it is very robust. So JVM takes care about that servlet part and everything. So it creates a virtual machine for that. There is no need to worry about all things, garbage collection. Servlet never throws the garbage value on system or HTTP container, or we can say web app. Again, it's secure because it's used Java language. We can create public, private, we can use abstract, we can use interface, anything inside Java servlet. So these are all about the Java servlet part. Now you know I will tell you about the get post in a later, but remember we are going to use two methods here, get and post method. As you can see, in that we created a source package which is named as, we created as validate AD. We are going to use do post method. You can use do get method also here, but we are posting something information, so I'm going to use your do post. I used your do post method. So this is all about the Java servlet I told you. So in the next further session, I am going to tell you about how we can consider this, and using p sign up, how we can put in the database all the participants name and everything.